Hi, everybody, and welcome to this brief micro lecture on talking about channel power and channel conflict, all real considerations in managing the supply chain. So, conflict arises in distribution channels on a fairly regular basis. Retailers, for example, don't stock all the manufacturer's SKUs, disagreements on pricing, different types of things like that. Um, and so channel conflict definitely happens. Channel conflict also happens when um, people skip the step in the distribution process and and assume the role of one of their channel partners otherwise has. And I'll use an example. A manufacturer might sell their products through a retail outlet, but then start selling directly to the consumer online. That creates conflicts, obviously, with retailers who say, "Here I'm competing with one of my suppliers just to sell their products," and that obviously doesn't sit really well. Um, Channel powers is almost always defined by size, so having power can be effective. However, exerting power over like distribution partners can lead to resentment and further lack of cooperation. And they look for ways to try to not sell through their products through you. Walmart threatens to stop selling your product unless you agree to concessions. They're very famous for doing that. They have a very strong set of rules, and basically those rules don't. If you don't agree to those up front, they don't even consider your product to be sold through Walmart stores. So it's a way for them to maintain their operational efficiencies that they have with their channel partners. Um, so transactional cost analysis, something that has to take place when we consider we're going to model what the channel's members' production and governance costs are. The goal is to minimize both costs. There are production costs, obviously, to bring in a product to the marketplace. Governance costs are involved with the relational issues incurred coordinating and controlling one's partners. So both those things have to be taken into consideration, whether it's worth selling through a particular element of the channel or not. And then we look at transaction value analysis, so a perspective that emphasizes the benefits that a company brings to its partners. We don't think about that necessarily just in terms of cost reductions. We think about it in terms of relationship terms, like communication, trust, satisfaction. You're going to quickly learn that the people who are selling your product, you have to trust them implicitly to present your product and represent your product in the right way. And so that's where we consider these things. And the goal ultimately is to enhance trust between the channel partners. As you can appreciate, there's points where this can create conflict. The best ways to resolve this are typically you want to have very clear and honest communication to build trust with your channel partners. If you're making a decision that's going to not be very popular, you want to be able to communicate that. You don't necessarily involve them in the decision making because you do what you have to do, but nonetheless, it's best to get into that discussion earlier than just springing it on your channel partners. Okay, exchange personnel to better understand members' perspectives. That does have more people will send their employees to go work directly with channel partners, either on the supply side or on the closer to the consumer side. And then we can always mediate and arbitrate if we have to try to resolve channel conflicts. But they tend to resolve themselves if something is being done and it doesn't help the entire channel. The channel goes through changes, and sometimes to the detriment of the suppliers, and sometimes to the detriment of the retailers and the wholesalers that are exerting this amount of influence and power. So the next thing we're going to talk about is channel integration, one of the key steps in making and choosing distribution strategy. If you have any questions about this, certainly let me know.